Okay, sir, we're going in. Roger that. Proceed with mission.
Welcome back to VRE Arcade. In today's video, Fred, Eddie the Eagle, and I were wondering what'd you think of my ads to the friggin' cutscene that was released at the VR showcase last week for cover. You know, that's the way I want to be playing it. Haptics, a gunstock on a treadmill. And quite honestly, the game looks a lot more suited for a treadmill than Zero Caliber 2, which I just got done playing the first couple levels on my treadmill. And I can tell you, that game's a workout. Because especially if you die, because there is a lot going on. So with that, let's talk about what we can expect in the Gunstock, Haptics, and Treadmill department when we're looking at cover, and what kind of advancements over Zero Caliber 2 can we expect. Is it going to be the same kind of level increase from Zero Caliber 1 to Zero Caliber 2, from Zero Caliber 2 to cover? We'll see. Nobody knows at the moment, but they did show us another clip right now of how they changed the bullet sound and the way it sounds. And let's take a look at that, and that might give us an indication of just how much more polish that they're putting into this game than the previous two that they've made.
These are our new bullet-on metal impacts. And these were the old ones.
Definitely sounds a whole lot better. So if that's any indication, then we could be looking for a really, really sweet game. Now, let's talk about the treadmills. What can you expect if you're a VR treadmill user with versus cover in Zero Caliber 2? Not a whole lot, really. I think it's going to control mostly the same the way they do it, unless they change their speed pacing on how fast the characters walk in time in game. That might change how it feels, because I have played different games that are free locomotion games, first person style, that do feel different because the speed at which you walk is slower. Like some games where they want to put kids or put you on rails more because they're worried about VR sickness, versus games that are a little more like, okay, if you want to turn it up to 100 and puke 5 minutes later, go right ahead if you've never played VR. So that stuff can change how it kind of feels, but ultimately going from Zero Caliber 1 to Zero Caliber 2, I didn't notice much difference, so I can't expect there's going to be a whole lot of difference. The only thing that I would say is, because Zero Caliber 1 and Zero Caliber 2 are games that are based on like towns and huge war zone type games where you've got lots of distance to cover, you actually get in vehicles in the second one and move to new spots. It can take a lot more energy exertion to get through levels and complete the game, because you've got a lot more walking that you have to do. Versus, I think, a game like Cover, the way the trailer shows it, is it shows it like it's going to be more of a compound, building multi-layer type map systems that you have, you know, an industrial park, stuff like that, where you're rescuing the CEO or some shit, you know, it's going to be along those lines. So more compact, not saying that the levels can't be big, but it's going to be tiered and it's going to be compounds, not big towns and going down the street 4 blocks and then running over 4 blocks and going over the bridge and then down the road more. It's not that, you know, so a lot slower paced, which might be a little bit more suited for this, you know, in that regard. And that's really it. Otherwise, I think it's going to be fine, and I'm going to play it that way with it, because I think it's a lot less energy exertion. Not that it's not fun playing, but after a while, it gets tiring. You just start using that thumbstick to walk when you die and have to repeat. Might not have to do as much of that in Cover. Let's talk haptics. To me, haptics are a very, very important part of gaming in today's gaming world. For about the last 6-7 years, I've been using haptic vests with all my gaming, no matter what I play. If it's a flat screen, if it's a shooter, if it's a puzzle game, if it's anything, music games, you know, whatever it is, I generally use haptics. Now, I've gotten a couple different vests and experienced native versus audio, and they both have their benefits and they both have their negatives in a certain sense based on where the technology is at the end of the day. But ultimately, haptics add to your gaming experience. So I don't think it's talked about as enough, and that's why I talk about it when I do stuff like this. What can you expect with cover if you like to use haptic jackets and wrists and whatever else, face shields and whatnot, and that's an important gaming component for you. Ultimately, I just got done playing Soul Calibur 2, or not Soul Calibur 2, Zero Caliber 2, and for the last couple hours, ran through a bunch of stuff, played with some of the Gunstocks, the shotguns, oh my goodness, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And ultimately, the haptics are great in it. The surprisingly, some stuff I've never experienced, which is fresh and makes the experience pretty good. There was a part where I'm in there shooting at somebody, feeling it kind of in my chest, and then the recoil mechanics a little bit, and then bombs are going off behind me in my back, and you can tell which direction and how strong by how close they are, by how big the sensation is on your back, at the same time getting a different sensation on your front, along with all the stuff giving you independent background feedback at varying sensation levels. I don't know, man. I thought that was amazing. I guess I've never experienced anything. I've experienced a lot of cool haptics for sensations that are tied to like grabbing a lever and holding it and stuff like that. But in overall field, it's usually when you get shot, you feel it, and that's it. Or an explosion, you feel it if you're close by, but that's it. But to be able to feel independent explosions all around you at different varying strengths all around your body off into the distance was something I haven't experienced before. So to me, if this is an indication of what we're going to have with cover, it should be fucking awesome. And they really don't even need to do anything. So if they're going to improve it, like they're improving everything else apparently that they're saying, or shown so far and talking about, then we should be in good hands on the haptic front if you're a haptic user. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be rocking the full suit with that when I get that game comes out and get to playing it. So that's my thoughts on what you can expect. So what can us Gunstock users expect from cover? Well, if Zero Caliber 2 is any indication of what we can expect to be implemented in cover, we should be in good hands. Zero Caliber 2, which I never played up until a couple days ago. I've had it for a while. I've owned it for a while, but I just finally got around to playing it once I saw this trailer for cover to see how much of advancement 2 was over their first game. I'm happy to say that it's a massive improvement in every way. So even the Gunstock aspect of the support is much, much better. Because if I remember correctly, when I played on Zero Caliber 1, the Gunstock support in-game adjustability was virtually non-existent. There wasn't much there. Because I remember it being something kittywampus slightly, where it worked good enough, but it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to where you could get by, and I played it that way just because the immersion was still more fun than without it. But this one has a robust system that allows you to adjust your gun stock in real time, much like Crossfire Sierra Squad in their offset system. Their offset system works like this. You hold your gun up like this, you go into that menu by pressing your 2 triggers, and then you hold the 1 trigger down, doesn't matter on what gun, but 1 at a time, and then you can move the gun based on the thumbsticks, and those thumbsticks are going to give you different movability. Forward, backward, up, down, left. I think it's spin like this, and then it's pitch. I don't think they have this left to right, and I think they should. I think that's the 5 axis that should be included in all games, but I think they only have the 4. But those 4 is still better than 95% of the other games out there, because 95% of the other games out there don't have all of that adjustability in that form. Some of them have that adjustability in slider form. It's just more tedious to get your setup. They're just as good ultimately, like Light Brigade, for instance, is one of those games. It doesn't have a setup like that, but it has such a nice slider bar setup. It's robust and very good. One of the best ones out there as well, even though it's implemented a little bit differently, for instance. So I would say I think this is one of the best ones out there, and we're in good hands. I wouldn't be worried at all in any way, shape, or form about your gun stock that you own, because there's so many different ones out there that you're going to have any problems implementing it or making it want to line up well so you can be effective using it when you're playing the game. So if you're a gun stock user, 100% you can sleep at night knowing that when this game comes out, your gun stock will be able to rock a roll with the game, and you'll have adjustment ability that is one of the best out there across all shooters in the VR space, in my opinion. So with that, let's close this out so we can get back to some gaming, everybody. That's the big three: Haptics, Treadmills, and Gunstocks. And for those of you out there, let's just recap real quick. Treadmill, probably not going to be a whole lot different. Worked pretty good with 0 caliber 2. Only difference is probably going to be pacing, because large scale maps versus smaller scale maps, considering it looks like a capture retrieval style 4-player, extraction shooter style game, which generally lends itself to smaller maps. Less energy exertion, not long distance travel. Other than that, not much difference. When we move on to the Gunstocks, it's got one of the best systems in there already, so there's not much that needs to be done to improve it, aside from maybe adding the left to right access, and then it would be perfect. But I'll take what we got, because it's a massive improvement over their first game, 0 caliber. And if this is what we get or something better, awesome for any gun user out there that actually uses a gun stock. And then for Haptics, great experience so far in the few levels that I've played with the Haptics. I think they're improved over the first game, although I don't remember enough to say definitively if that is the case. But the one part in the game where I was feeling my gunfire and I was feeling multiple explosions of different strength at different parts of my body on the front and the back at the same time was awesome. And I haven't felt anything like that. So if that is something they're doing and they're going to add that and move that over to cover, then I think we're in good hands on the haptic front as well. And I don't have anything more to add, really, other than that I'm excited to see how this game turns out. And with their polishing that they've been doing to more minor things, it only makes me wonder how much nicer everything else could be. And for someone who's into immersion and likes this type of gaming, if that's you and you like gun stocks, haptics, and treadmills when you're playing shooters and whatnot, then this game looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty good one for this type of gaming. So ultimately, we'll see. Only time can tell. But until then, we'll just have to keep on gaming with what we got. So I'm going to get moving. I got to touch a little bit on this new definitive launch final update for the Light Brigade, because I've been playing it since day one. I have a little video coming on that one. Not super in-depth, but a little bit of video on that. And then I'll get on to all my other videos as I've been working on them. Working on the H2 to H4 upgrade video still. That is coming, along with the other ones I've mentioned. You can check out my update video here, and that one will give you a little bit more information on other videos that I have coming down the pipe, along with my ecosystem video. So stay tuned. If you're into racing, you're into gun stocks, you're into VR and immersion, this is the channel for you. Until the next time, from Fred, Eddie the Eagle, and me, Peter V, have fun gaming.